Welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be looking at the project C variables if, else, and why. Right. So the first thing I want you to concentrate on is the resources. Right. It's very important so that you understand what you need to work on in this project. So you can look at this, everything you need to know to start with C. Okay, so you can go through the document, read it. It's very, very important so that you will be able to grab amongst everything you will be asked in this question. So you can see these are, we have characters, we have unsigned characters. These are the bytes, right? The byte for a character is 1 byte. Unsigned character is also 1 byte. Short is 2 bytes. Unsigned short is 2 bytes, and integer is 4 bytes. And this is going to come out in the quiz section. Okay, so unsigned int is also 4 bytes. For long is 8 bytes, and unsigned long is also 8 bytes. So this is very important. You should take notes of this. If you scroll down, you should be able to see some variable declaration here. You can see how to declare a variable, the type and the name, which is example an integer, and the name, which is I. All right, a character, which is the type, and C, which is the variable name. All right, so you need to read this. So with that, let me close this and move to the other section, keywords and identifiers. Right, so if you look at this, they are what they called built-in keywords. All right, so if you are declaring your variable, you don't need to use any of these words because these are what built-in keywords. All right, so if you use any of these words, you are going to get an error. So ensure you also read this documentation down so that you can understand what is going on. So the next thing you want to look at is the arithmetic operator. All right, so if you open the URL, which is taking you to tutorialpoint.com, so you can see we have the addition, we have the subtraction, and we have the multiplication operator, and the division. We also have the modulus operator, and the increment operator and decrement operator. Okay, they're giving you some example here at the bottom. For me, the best way to do this, to understand this, is you can copy this. Let me see if I've highlighted everything. Okay, you can copy this and take it to an online compiler, which is what I'm using is programming.com, and I'm using the C programming. So I was showing a full screen. So when you go to programming.com, you are going to see this menu here. In this menu, you can select different compiler. This is Python, this is Arrow, and so many and so forth. So I am using the C. So let me just expand it to full screen. So what I just need to do is replace what I have here. All right, so you can see we are given a three variable at the top. Two, we assign value to two. Two of them actually has value by default, and the third one does not have a value. All right, so you can see there are some operators we are using here. So this one is addition, right? You can see C holds the value of A plus what? B. Okay, so if you run that, you should get the result, right? So C holds the value of A minus B, and line 16, you can see C holds the value of A multiplied by B. All right, so line 19 is the division operator. Line 22 is the modulus operator, and line 25 is the increment operator, and line 28 is the decrement operator. So let me run this and see what we get. So when you run like this, you are going to see the result of every line of the code. So this will actually shape you as to give you more understanding of what is going on. However, if you look at line 29 of this code, right, you can see we are doing a decrement of the value of A, but we are getting 22, right? So it's supposed to be 20, right? So why is that happening? Because we on line 25, we're actually incrementing the value of a, which is a post increment. So what will happen is the instead of the c to have the value of 22 here, is going to have the value of 22 on the next call. And same thing apply to line 28. Instead of the value of c to have the value of 20 is going to have the value of 20 on the next call, right? So I think for us to correct that, we can do a pre-decrement operator, and we can also do a pre increment a post yes a pre increment operator here. So I'm going to save and run. You can see good. So for the line 26, we are having 22, right? And for line 29, we are having 21, which is correct. So the number moved from 21 to 22, and later deducted one out of it, which is 21. All right. So going to this, make sure you look at all the example from the top to the bottom. All right. So for that, I believe you must have covered all the resources. If you've not, please look into it. It's very important you look at it, and do not limit yourself to what you will learn here. Right? You can do your own personal research. Just make sure you understand what they actually want you to learn here. So at the end of it, the objective should be you should be able to understand this, right? You should be able to understand this so that it will give you a proper understanding. Okay, so let us go to the quiz. So the first question of the quiz is, what is the size of a float? I think I showed that earlier, right? The size of a float is what? 4 bytes. The size of a float is what? 4 bytes. You can see that here. Then for question number 1, it says, what is the size of a character? I showed that earlier before. So it is 1 byte. For question 2, it says, which of the following are valid? While or do while statement? Which of the following are valid while or do while statement in the INCI, C, and Betty compliant, considering A and B two variables of type int? So if you look at it closely, you will see the correct answer this, is this, and this, and this. All right. So those are the 3 correct answer. Then question number 3, what is the size of the unsigned int data type? Is the same 4 byte, both signed and unsigned, the same what? 4 byte. So question number 4, which of the following are valid for statement in the INC, ANICC, and Betty compliant, considering A and B two variables of type int? Okay, if you look at it, this is correct, and this is also correct. This is a for loop. This is another for loop, which is also correct. Okay, so for question number 5, the correct answer is what? A and B. Okay, this is talking about the if statement. So this is A without the curly brace, and this is an if statement with the curly brace. So that is what correct. So moving on to tag 0, which is positive. Anything is better. Anything is better than negative. Nothing. So for the tag 0, it says this program will assign a random number to a variable n each time it is executed. Complete the source code in order to print whether the number stored in the variable n is positive or negative. Okay, you can find the source code here. Then the variable n will store a different value every time you will run this program. you don't have to understand what rand and x rand x rand underscore mass do. Please do not touch the code. The output of this program should be the number followed by, if the number is greater than 0, is positive. If the number is 0, then it is 0. Then if the number is less than 0, is negative. All right, so you have been given an example here so that when you run your code, you should get something like this. This should be exactly what you should get when you run your code. Okay, so let us look at the example file. If you look at it, this is the example file they've given us. So we have to modify this file. So you have to copy this and create a file. Create a file in your terminal, then paste it inside. Then you have to write the function. So, but the first thing you want to do is to go to your terminal, right? You go to your terminal, then under this folder, you should create a directory called this. Then this will be your working directory. And remember, like they always do, right? Every folder should have a readme, and the readme should contain what you want to do. It should not be empty. Okay, so let us do that quickly. So I'm going to go to my terminal. Where is it? I'm going to go to my terminals. Okay, let me open this. So I prefer using the SSH. You can use your web terminal, but I prefer using what? The SSH. So I'm going to click on my terminal here because it's kind of convenience. Then paste here and SSH to my server. I need to copy the password. Okay. So I need to enter my password and enter. Cool. I am currently now in the root of my server application. So if I do pwd to show where I am, you can see I am in the root. But there's another folder called root. I need to go to the folder. Then if you check my folder, I have already created a project called ALX low level programming. And you can see that is where they want us to work in. They want us to work in this directory. All right, then in that directory there should be another folder called this. Okay, so let me just create some example here. So I'm going to make a directory called example right here. Sorry, let me look where I am first. Okay, in the root folder, you can see we have the ALX system engineering here. So I'm going to create a directory called example. I want to seed into this example, right? Okay, then I want to create a directory. This directory should be this guy. Then in this directory, this is like your main directory. You should have passed this stage. Okay, so this should have like a readme.md file. So I want to go into the current project folder. I'm going to create that. So I'm going to do make a directory and paste. Then cd into the directory. Okay, so if you do pwd now, you can see which is the present working directory. You can see I am currently in this folder root slash example slash oxo1 variable if x y. So the next thing you need to do is you create this file, right? So I prefer using vim, so you can do like this, vim, then paste the name of the file, press enter. So when you press enter, you need to go and copy what you've written there, or you need to copy what the example they're giving you already here. Copy this and paste it in the file right here. Okay, but did I copy? Okay, I did not copy. Okay, okay. So, but I don't want to do that because I already have this file already. So I will just copy that. But however, once you finish typing, if you are using VI or Vim just like me, so you need to press escape, then regular column. However, to save this file, to write and quit this file, you need to put arrow Q. Okay, then you press what, save. Okay, so let me do that again. I want to do something important here. So let me just copy and go back to this. So I'm going to paste here. So I'm going to put like yes, I just press escape and regular column. So there are some times whereby you 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 have error, right? Maybe Betty is not, but you're having error with Betty. So for example, when you test your file, you want to know, maybe you want to test your file with Betty and make sure you're on the right track. There are sometimes it shows you error. Okay, yes, you can see it says no description, right? On line 8, warning, no description found. So in that case, all you need to do is to go to that file. How do you identify line 8? Right? For that, you need to press escape, regular column, and press set number. Okay, you can see we now have number here, and you can easily identify the number that is currently giving you issues. So when you're done with that, you need to press escape and write and quit. Okay, so but for me, I'm going to remove this file and copy what I already have. So I want to copy what I have written here in this folder. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to do cp dash dash, that should be ALS low level programming, then it should be o dash o1 o dash o1 dash variable, sorry, ox1, I made a mistake, ox01. Alright, so I discover the copy will not work because there is a mistake. So let me collect this. So if I do lx-l, you will see that this folder, which is ox, supposed to be, as in this folder here, supposed to be in the ALX low level programming folder. So I need to put it inside. So I need to move the folder. I need to move the folder to the ALS low level programming folder. So I have moved it. You can see, if you check now, it's not here. So we need to go into the ALS low level programming folder. You can see there's nothing inside. So like I always told you, the first thing you want to do is create your readme.md file. So readme.md, and you press enter. So here you can just do if else project. You can just write anything about the project, right? So I just wrote something there. Remember, it should not be empty. So now I want to copy that file since I already have that file. So how will I do that? If I check my parent directory, you can see I am like 3 steps in and I need to get to the root. So what I will do is copy one step back, another step back, then slash root, I guess. Okay, no, one more step back, then slash root. Then in the root, I want to go into the folder which is the ALS low level programming, and I want to go into the O. Let me expand this so that we can see it clearly. Okay, so I want to go to, sorry, let me take this. I want to go to the OX01. Okay, and what am I copying? I am copying this file which is O dash o dash positive or negative. So where am I copying it to? Into the current folder. So if I press enter and if we check this, you can see we now have it in the current what folder. All right. So now you need to run this project. Sorry, you need to run this file. What you need to run this file, you can see just like what they've done here, right? But there are sometimes you need to do permission of this file. Let me see if because let me see the permission of this file. So if I do ls-l, right, you can see it is read write. So now I think it's possible to run this file. But however, if you want to make, if you want to run the program, you can change the modification of the file. You can this can be run by anybody, so you can just put it like this. You can do chmod 777 dash the name of the file, right? Press enter. You can see if I do lx again, you can see this can be run by anybody. Nav, read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute for everybody. All right, so we need to test our program and make sure everything is working properly. So I'm going to copy this command here. We want to make sure we get the same result. So I'm going to paste it on the console and press enter. Okay, so if we press enter, let us see the example here. Okay, it looks like it generates a file, right? It generates a file. Yes, you can see from the command. The last part of the command is you should, we are using the gcc command, and it should generate a file which is dash o and the name of the file. So if you do ls now, you can see it has generated a file without an extension. So to run that file, we need to call, we need to type this, which is o dash. Okay, so if I press enter, now you can see it prints out the result, which is this very number is what? A negative, right? I think I can run it multiple times. Let me see. Okay, it's positive. Yeah, good. So I will continue running. It's positive, is negative, is positive, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that is how to do your first project, and this same pattern applies to all the projects you've seen here. So you're going to use the same pattern. Make sure you you test your project. In fact, the key things to take note of is one, as soon as you finish typing on your project, the first thing you want to do is to check it with Betty. Is to check it, maybe what you've written actually works with Betty. So Betty, then the name of the file, dot what? C, right? You want to test your file with Betty. So if you press enter, you can see my own is giving me only the main, right? This tells you that everything is okay. But if you have issue, Betty is going to point it out here that there's a problem in your file in so and so line. Okay. All right. So the next thing you want to take note of is run your program just like what you've done. You need to test your file, right? The file you've written so far. So you need to like copy this one. This one is for what? Question is for the project number one. Okay, so you need to run it, and when you run it, you should test it out. It should print out the same result. I can actually copy that. Let me just copy that so that we can see that in example. So what I'm doing is I am actually pressing up. You can get the history of your command by typing up and down. So I just press up to my previous command that I use in copy. So what's the name of the file I want to copy? If you scroll, you can see what we want to copy is one dash last underscore digit dot c. So I need to, okay, not this one, not this one. We need the one with the copy. So I'm pressing up. Okay, this is it. So what we're going to do is let me bring this out so that we can see it clearly. Okay, so it's gonna be one dash last digit dot c. So where are we copying it to? The current folder, which is the period I just put. If you press enter, right, and you check, okay, and you check this, you can see we now have the one dash last digit folder here. So to test your folder first, to test your file first, if it's correct, if there is no error with Betty, you need to run Betty dash one dash last digit dot c. So when you press enter and check, you can see everything is good, right? So the next thing you want to do is to test your file, if it's going to output the correct result. So I'm going to copy the command they're giving us in the project example and press enter. So if you press enter, it should generate a file which is one dash last digit, an executable. Okay, so ls, and you see this is the file here. So I want to run this file. I will now press dot slash one dash what last digit without an extension. Press enter. You can see my own output a result, which is the last digit of the number is what? Zero. What is zero? So if you look at what you have here, right? So you can see the first one say the last digit of a number is 2, right? So you can keep on testing it. You can keep on running it and be getting different results, right? Keep on running, be getting different results. So this is how to know that you have done everything correctly. Okay, so for that, um, okay, so that is all for this. I think with these two example you that I've given, these two clear example, I believe you should be able to work on your project. All right. So when you are done, right? Like when you are done with one of the problem, what you want to do is you want to do your git status. Mind you, let me do this again. Let me list everything we have here. You see, I this file without an extension is not compulsory you push it to GitHub. Okay, it's not what compulsory you push it to what GitHub. Okay, you can decide to remove it. For you to remove it, you can just remove it directly. So okay, let me remove one. You can just delete it. Zero dash what? Zero dash p. You can just delete it like this. It has been deleted. If you check, you're not going to see it again. Okay, you only have the one with the C extension. You only have what? The one with the C extension. Okay, so mind you, um, look at, there's something I want you to take note here so that it won't confuse you. I am currently working in the ALX low level programming project. So it should be in this word folder, right? So I think I can move everything. I can move everything to the to the folder. Okay, no. O dash OX1, sorry. I can move everything to the folder. So if I try this, I believe it should work. So if I do LX, okay. So I need to move this one dash this to the same folder. OX. To move this, so it should remain only this folder. So if I go to this folder and do LX here, okay, we now have the item here. Okay, so I was talking about how to add this to git ignore. So for you to put it in git ignore, first of all, you need to check if you already have git initialize, which I believe you should. Okay, so for mine, this is not a git repository, so I can just do that git init Okay, so if I do git status, right, you can see it's telling me that I on track 5, right? So for me to add, I need to add this one of these 5 to git ignore. Okay, let me see. Okay, I want to add this one dash last underscore digit to git ignore. So to do that, I let me copy the name of the file. I need to include the name of this file in the git ignore file. So I'm gonna create, okay, let me use vim dot git ignore. Okay, git what ignore. So all you need to do is to put the name of the file inside, right? So when you put this inside, then you put your regular column W and Q, which stands for write and quit rather. So that is that. That is that. So now you can see I just run the command git status and you can see this file, the previous one is missing here, so that when you're going to push, you are not going to see every file you've included in the git ignore. So for that, you need to add, when you add and do git status again, you can see it's now showing green. It means it has been added. So you need to commit it. So commit dash m, working on my project. You can write some meaningful words, at least that shows what you are doing. Okay, so that has been committed. So if you do git status again, yes, you shouldn't see anything. Nothing has been committed. So the next command you need to do is git push, right? Git push. So once you do git push, mine did not actually have a remote origin. So I'm not going to push this. This is just an example. Okay. So I believe this example is kind of straightforward. So I'm going to share the link to my repo, the completed project, on the description. So make sure you look at it and make sure you follow up all the steps. Make sure you type it yourself and make sure you have no error. Make sure you check with Betty. All right. So that is all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in another video.